You just ate a single bagel with cream cheese. It is 400 calories. If you listen to the fitness industry, you now have to go to the gym, get on a treadmill, and run at a brutal pace for 45 minutes just to neutralize that one snack. But what if I told you that bagel doesn't have to turn into belly fat at all? What if you could eat those 400 calories and instead of storing them around your waist, they get sucked directly into your muscles to give you energy with zero treadmill time required? You can. But it requires you to completely ignore everything you have been taught about calories, cardio, and weight loss. Most people think fitness is a math problem. They think, if I burn more calories than I eat, I will lose weight. So they starve themselves. They do grueling cardio, they suffer, and when the scale doesn't move, they blame their genetics. The truth is, you cannot outrun a bad diet, but you can absolutely outsmart your metabolism. I have developed a method called the muscle sponge protocol. It doesn't rely on burning calories. It relies on a biological glitch in how your body processes the food you eat. It bypasses your fat cells entirely and forces the energy from your meals directly into your muscle tissue. It takes 90 seconds. You can do it in your kitchen, and if you give me a few minutes, I will save you years of wasted cardio and dieting misery. To understand why this works, we first have to understand why your belly fat is so stubborn. Why is it that you can lose weight in your face, your arms get thinner, but that spare tire around your middle acts like it is glued on with cement? It is not because you are lazy, it is actually a survival mechanism. Your body has two main places it can send the energy from the food you eat. Think of them like two parking lots. Parking lot A is your muscle tissue. This is a small, highly active lot. Energy goes in, energy goes out. Your muscles love absorbing food because they need it to move you around. Parking lot B is your belly fat. This is a massive dark warehouse. Once energy goes in there, the doors lock and your body refuses to let it out. When you eat a meal, let's say a bowl of pasta, the food gets broken down into sugar and enters your bloodstream. This is where the traffic cop comes in. The traffic cop is a hormone called insulin. Insulin's only job is to look at the sugar in your blood and say, get out of the street, go park somewhere. Now here is where the magic happens. Insulin does not have a master key. It has to knock on the doors of the parking lot. When insulin knocks on the door of your belly fat, the door flies open immediately. Belly fat is incredibly greedy. It absorbs the sugar, locks the door, and stores it as pure fat. But when insulin knocks on the door of your muscles, the door doesn't just open on its own. The muscle door has a deadbolt. To unlock the deadbolt, you need a physical key. That key is muscle tension. Think about your muscles like dry sponges sitting on your kitchen counter. If you pour water on the counter, the dry sponge will instantly soak it up. But if the sponge is already soaking wet, the water just rolls off the counter and onto the floor. When you eat a meal, your muscles are usually wet. They are already full of energy from the days before. So the sugar in your blood cannot get into the muscles. It rolls right off and goes straight to your belly fat. So how do we fix this? We have to wring out the sponge before we eat. If you can create tension in your muscles right before a meal, you physically force the muscle to unlock its doors and empty out its stored energy. The muscle becomes a dry sponge. Then, when you eat your food, the sugar rushes into the dry muscle sponge instead of your belly fat. This is the muscle sponge protocol, and it completely changes the rules of weight loss. But to truly master this, we have to look at why traditional exercise makes this worse. When you do high-intensity cardio, like sprinting, spinning classes, or aggressive interval training, you are telling your body that you are running for your life. You enter a fight or flight state. Your body releases massive amounts of stress hormones. This causes your muscles to dump their stored energy rapidly to help you sprint away from the imaginary tiger. Yes, you burn calories. Yes, you wring out the sponge. But here is the trap. When you finish that grueling workout, your muscles are completely empty. They are screaming for energy. Your body responds by making you incredibly hungry. This is why people who do tons of cardio often eat more calories than they burned. Their empty muscles are demanding to be refilled. And worse, the stress hormones from intense cardio tell your body to prioritize storing fat for the next emergency. So you eat, the food goes to your muscles to refill them, but your body holds onto every single ounce of fat it can find because it thinks you are in a famine. You are literally running on a hamster wheel, burning calories, getting ravenous, eating them back, and training your body to hoard fat. The fitness industry has sold you a lie. They tell you that the more you suffer, the leaner you get. It is a business model designed to keep you coming back to the gym. But biology doesn't care about your suffering. It only cares about survival. And the fastest way to survive, like in your body's eyes, is to keep a layer of fat around your organs. So we have to trick the body. We need to wring out the muscle sponge without triggering a stress response. We need to open the muscle doors without making the body think it is running from a tiger. How do we do that? We use stillness. Movement is what triggers stress. Speed triggers stress. Heavy breathing triggers stress. But tension? Tension is silent. Tension does not trigger the survival alarms. If you can hold your body in a specific position under tension for 90 seconds, you achieve something incredible. You force the muscles to burn their stored energy locally. You wring out the sponge, but your heart rate stays low, your breathing stays normal, your stress hormones stay flat. You are creating a biological vacuum. You are emptying the cup so you can fill it back up with your next meal, entirely bypassing your fat cells. Let's talk about the exact protocol. This is not a workout. This is a biological switch. You do this exactly 90 seconds before you eat your 3 main meals. I want you to go to a wall, put your back flat against the wall, slide down until your knees are bent at a 90-degree angle, like you are sitting in an invisible chair. This is a wall sit. Now, most people rush through these. They bounce, they look at their phone, they quit when their legs burn. We are doing the opposite. I want you to hold that position for exactly 90 seconds. Do not move. Keep your core tight. Breathe slow and deep through your nose. At around 45 seconds, your legs will start to shake. This is the magic moment. The shaking is the sound of your muscle sponge being wrung out. The local energy in your leg muscles is depleting. The doors are unlocking. You hold through the shake. You breathe through the discomfort. At 90 seconds, you stand up. Your legs will feel heavy and warm. That warmth is the blood rushing into the muscles, clearing out the spent energy. You have just created a massive metabolic vacuum in the largest muscles in your body. Your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes are now completely empty sponges sitting there waiting to soak something up. Now, you go eat your meal. Because your muscles are empty, your insulin traffic cop directs the food directly into the legs. The sugar never makes it to your belly fat. It never gets stored. It goes straight to replenishing the muscles. You're just exhausted. You ate the exact same meal, but you change the destination of the calories. You change the chemistry of your body. But what if you can't do a wall sit? What if your knees hurt? The beauty of the muscle sponge protocol is that it works on any muscle group. You just have to pick a position where you can hold tension without moving and without spiking your heart rate. If your knees are bad, go to the kitchen counter. Put your hands on the edge, step back and hold a strict plank position. Keep your body in a perfectly straight line. Squeeze your stomach, squeeze your glutes. Hold it for 90 seconds. The shaking will start in your core. That is your abdominal sponge being wrung out. The energy is leaving your midsection. When you eat, the food will rush into your abdominal muscles to repair them rather than sitting on top of them as belly fat. If a plank is too hard, stand in the middle of your kitchen, hold 2 heavy water jugs or heavy bags of groceries, keep your arms perfectly straight, locked at the elbow, and just hold them by your sides. Do not move. At 60 seconds, your shoulders and upper back will scream. That is the sponge being wrung out in your upper body. The rule is simple. 90 seconds of static, unmoving tension. Breathe through the nose. Do not let the heart rate spike. If you are gasping for air, you are doing it wrong. You are triggering stress. We want tension, not panic. When you apply this protocol, something incredible happens over the course of a few weeks. First, your energy levels go through the roof. Most people feel sluggish after they eat. That is because their food is going into the belly fat warehouse, which takes hours to process and leaves them feeling heavy. When food goes into the muscles, it is converted into immediate, usable energy. You will finish a meal feeling lighter and more alert than before you ate. Second, your sugar cravings will vanish. Why do you crave sugar at 3 p.m.? It is not because you lack willpower, it is because your blood sugar is crashing. Why is it crashing? Because your muscles are full, so the sugar you ate earlier got locked into your fat cells. Now your brain has no quick energy available, so it sends an emergency signal. Eat sugar now. But when you use the muscle sponge protocol, your muscles are constantly pulling sugar out of your blood. Your blood sugar remains perfectly flat all day long. You don't get the afternoon crash. You don't crave the donut. Your body's finally running efficiently. Third, and most importantly, your belly fat will start to melt. Remember the 2 parking lots? Right now, your body is sending 80% of your food to the fat lot and 20% to the muscle lot. By wringing out the sponge before meals, you flip the ratio. 80% goes to the muscles, 20% goes to fat. Your body realizes it no longer needs to hold on to the fat warehouse because it is getting a steady, safe stream of energy. It unlocks the alpha receptors we talked about earlier. The red light turns green. Your body starts releasing that stubborn belly fat to be burned as fuel while you sleep, while you work, and while you go about your day. Let me give you a warning though, there is a trap you must avoid. When people start this protocol, they often step on the scale after the first week and panic. The scale goes up by 2 or 3 pounds. They think the protocol made them fatter. It didn't. You have to understand the difference between fat weight and water weight. Remember what I said about the muscle sponge? When a muscle absorbs sugar, it doesn't just store the sugar, it stores it with water. For every gram of energy your muscle stores, it stores 3 grams of water. When you do the 90-second tension hold, you wring the old energy out, then you eat and the muscle soaks up new energy. But because you are now doing this 3 times a day, your muscles are consistently full of energy and water. They become denser, firmer and heavier. That is not fat, that is hydrated, healthy muscle tissue. Fat is fluffy, bulky, and takes up a lot of space. Muscle is dense, compact, and takes up very little space. You could gain 5 pounds of muscle and lose 5 pounds of fat, and the scale says you didn't change, but your waistline will shrink by 2 inches, and your jeans will fit completely differently. Do not trust the scale. The scale is a liar. It only tells you your total gravitational pull. It doesn't tell you what that weight is made of. Trust the mirror, trust how your clothes fit, trust the fact that your stomach is visibly flatter in the morning. The scale will lie to you, but your belt buckle will not. Now, let's talk about the psychological freedom of this protocol. The biggest problem with the fitness industry isn't the bad exercises, it's the mental prison it puts you in. You are told that food is the enemy. You are told that eating a carb is a sin that must be punished with 45 minutes on the Stairmaster. You live in a constant state of anxiety. You look at a plate of food and see a math equation. You see guilt. You see failure. This is no way to live. The muscle sponge protocol breaks that prison. It puts you back in control. Food is no longer the enemy. Food is just fuel. It is data. And your body is the computer. When you know you have the power to direct that fuel wherever you want, the anxiety disappears. You can go to a restaurant with your friends, you can eat a piece of bread, you can have a bowl of pasta, you just excuse yourself, go to the restroom, do 90 seconds of wall sits or counter planks, come back and eat your meal knowing exactly where those calories are going. You are no longer reacting to your body, you are commanding it. And think about how different this is from traditional dieting. Traditional dieting says, starve the body, deprive it, make it suffer until it shrinks. And what happens? Your body fights back, it slows your metabolism, it makes you cold, tired and depressed, it makes you obsessed with food, and the moment you stop the diet, it rebounds and stores even more fat than before. This protocol says, feed the body, feed it well, but first create the space for that food to go. You are working with your biology, not against it. You are respecting the survival mechanisms that kept your ancestors alive, but updating them for the modern world. Your ancestors didn't have a fridge full of food. They had to hunt. They went days without eating. Their bodies evolved to store fat because they never knew when the next meal was coming. Like, you have a grocery store on every corner. You have food delivered to your door. You don't need the fat storage mechanism anymore, but your body doesn't know that. It still thinks you are living in a cave. By doing 90 seconds of tension before you eat, you are simulating the physical effort of the hunt. You are telling your body, I had to work for this meal, open the muscles, we need the energy. You are speaking directly to your DNA, and your DNA listens. Let's break down what a day looks like when you live this way. You wake up in the morning, you are fasting, or you are having breakfast. And if you're eating breakfast, you go to the kitchen. Before you touch the eggs or the toast, you drop into a 90-second wall sit. You breathe through the burn, you stand up, your legs are warm, you eat. The food rushes into your legs, you feel instantly energized, no morning sluggishness. Lunchtime rolls around, you are at work, you can't do a wall sit in the boardroom, so you go to the bathroom or a private office. You do a 90-second plank on the floor, or if you have to stand in the break room, you find a heavy chair, pick it up and hold it with straight arms for 90 seconds. Your upper body shakes, the sponge is wrung out, you eat your lunch, no afternoon crash, you stay sharp and focused until 5 p.m. because your blood sugar is completely stable. Dinner time. You are home. This is usually the most dangerous meal because this is when people binge, they are tired, they are stressed, and they eat a massive meal and sit on the couch. Instead, before dinner, you grab your spouse, your kid, or just your own body weight. You do the hardest 90-second hold of the day. Maybe you hold a deep lunge on each leg. Maybe you do a wall sit with your hands pressing hard against your knees to create total body tension. You empty the sponge completely, then you eat your dinner. The massive amount of calories goes into the muscles, repairing the damage from the day. You sleep deeply because your body has the nutrients it needs to recover, and your metabolism runs hot all night long, burning pure belly fat while you dream. This is the power of the protocol. It doesn't add hours to your day. It takes 90 seconds. Over 3 meals, that is 4.5 minutes a day. 4.5 minutes to completely rewrite your metabolic destiny. Compare that to the hour you used to spend on the treadmill. Compare that to the hour you used to spend feeling guilty about what you ate. You are trading suffering for strategy. You are trading motion for tension. Let's review the rules so you can start today. Rule 1, never eat a meal without wringing out the sponge first. 90 seconds of static tension, no moving, no bouncing. Rule 2, breathe through your nose. If you have to open your mouth to gasp for air, you are doing too much. Back off the intensity. We want muscle burn, not a cardio workout. Rule 3. Do not step on the scale for the first 21 days. Your muscles are going to fill up with healthy water weight. The scale will lie to you. Use a tape measure around your waist or just pay attention to how your shirts fit around your stomach. Rule 4. Eat real food. This protocol is a metabolic cheat code, but it is not magic. If you eat processed garbage, your body will still struggle. Eat your proteins, eat your carbs, eat your fats. Just make sure they come from the earth, not a factory. Rule 5. Pick the right hold for the meal. If you are about to eat a heavy carb meal like pasta or rice, do a lower body exercise. The legs have the biggest muscles so they can absorb the most sugar. If you're eating a lighter meal, an upper body or core hold is fine. Match the size of the sponge to the size of the meal. The fitness industry wants you to believe that you're broken. They want you to believe that your metabolism is slow, your genetics are bad, and the only way to fix it is to buy their programs, their supplements, and their gym memberships. They need you to stay confused, because a confused customer is a paying customer. But the truth is incredibly simple. Your body is a perfectly designed machine. It just has a traffic jam. You have been letting the food sit in the street and pile up in the belly fat warehouse. Now, you know how to direct the traffic. You know how to open the muscle doors. You don't need to run for 55 minutes to burn off a cookie. You don't need to suffer. You just need 90 seconds of stillness, 90 seconds of tension, 90 seconds to remind your body what it was built to do. Wring out the sponge, open the doors, let the food feed your muscles. Stop running, start commanding. Your metabolism is waiting for the order. Give it.